Welcome back, Hornets. New Ready Workbook lesson. So, if we will get out our Ready Workbook and we're going to open it to page 259. That is 259. That's in our language handbook. So, we're going to be working on lesson 15, figures of speech. And we got to remember, if Miss Murray does it, you do it. So, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to box our title. And so that way we pay attention to what we're working on. And then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to rewrite that at the top of the page, just so we pay a little extra attention to what we are working on. And I know we're going to be working on allusions today, so I'm just going to go ahead and add that up here at the top. So that way we can see it and we know it's important, right? So over here we have our standard, and our standard is dealing, let me highlight this one. We're interpreting figures of speech in context, okay? And that's important to know because we use allusion in a lot of things. So our very first one we've got is down here in our introduction. It says writing often includes figures of speech, which is expressions that suggest ideas beyond the actual meanings of the words. And we call that allusion. And in an allusion, a writer refers to a well-known person, situation, or situation such as a literary work, the Bible, or mythology. Miss Murray is even going to add something extra because I can't just sit here and let that be it. You also have historical allusions and cultural allusions. So we're going to add to that because it just makes me happier. So our main ones, though, well, we'll get to that. Writers use allusions to deepen your understanding about what you're reading. So they're assuming that you understand what they're talking about. For one of the examples down here that we've got says, I'm going to look here at the Achilles is a mythological hero who died when an arrow struck his heel, his only weak spot. And that's a myth. So this mythological allusion means that this kid over here, when Gus, who just was a student, but algebra was his Achilles heel, that means algebra is his weak point, just like Achilles' weak point was his heel. Another popular one, I'm going to jump down to this last one. It says, tomorrow Gus would meet his Goliath when he took his math test. Well, that is an allusion to, it's a biblical allusion because Goliath was a giant that had to battle a little boy, and David ended up beating Goliath. But Gus feels like the math test is his own version of Goliath, and it's kind of like a scary monster. How some of y'all feel about my class or math class? A little bit of the same. This middle one says Gus didn't understand algebra, and it had been an albatross around his neck for weeks. So, if you don't know what that means, what an albatross is a type of bird, well, there's a poem called The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. And in that poem, it's talking about how a sea captain kills a bird, and it's supposed to bring bad luck. So, so Gus is constantly afraid that algebra is going to be his problem. So I'm going to let's go along with this a little bit more. So down here at our bottom in our guided practice, underline each allusion, identify it as literary, biblical, or mythological? Then discuss its meaning. Well, you don't have a partner, and this is just us. So I'm going to help you out and let you know that number one, your illusion is going to be down the rabbit hole. And you've got to tell me if it's literary, biblical, or mythological. Now, if you look in your slideshow that goes along with this, you've got a drag and drop feature, and then you've got some slides where you're going to explain to me what you think. But as far as we're concerned right now, what type of illusion is this? And I'm going to help you out and tell you that it's to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And maybe that'll help you out a little bit. Number two, Mom said to Gus, "Is anything wrong? You look like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders." Well, carrying the weight of the world is going to be your illusion. And it's to this dude named Atlas, who Zeus got mad at, and his punishment made him hold up the world. So you've got to figure out, is it literary, biblical, or mythological, and what it could mean for Gus. Number three says Gus debated whether he should tell Mom his worries or just eat, drink, and be merry while he could. For this one, your illusion is eat, drink, and be merry. And this is a parable to Luke from the New Testament. And from there, hopefully you can figure out if it is a literary, biblical, or mythological illusion. And in this situation, it's about a farmer who keeps all of his grain and his stuff and is like, I'm going to relax and I'm going to chill out and I'm going to enjoy being rich. And God going, oh, what are you going to do with all your stuff? Because now you're dead. You can't take it with you. So you're supposed to think about how that's going to relate to Gus. And number four, I have his sister Bianca said, chill, Gus. You're making much ado about nothing. Well, much ado about nothing is our allusion to this dude called William Shakespeare. And from there, maybe you can figure out if it's literary, biblical, or mythological. And it's a play about just pretty much somebody making a big deal, and there was no reason to make something a big deal. So hopefully that'll help you, let you know what Gus is getting upset about. And number five, Gus felt like Big Brother had been watching him and wondered, how does Bianca know my worries? Well, in this case, Big Brother is our illusion. And it's to a George Orwell novel called 1984. And maybe that'll help you figure out if it's literary, biblical, or mythological. So when you're done, you get to go to your slideshow that is part of your learning path for today and answer these questions and do your drag and drop as part of your grade. So if you have any questions, please ask. That way I know how to help you. And all right. Thanks, guys.